Greetings, beloved. Dr. G. Alfred Palmer here, and I just want to take a few moments to share with you some thoughts as we get ready to proceed into the audio series that is coming forward called The Secrets of the Garden of Eden. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss that series because that series will be a life-changing series. It's groundbreaking, it's cutting edge. There will be things that you've never heard before. And there will be things that will transform and change the way that you think, read, and understand the biblical narrative. This groundbreaking series will change your life. I guarantee it. Now, I just want to just share a little bit with you. I want to ask you to pardon my congestion, and I'm healed, going through, but I'm healed already. So I want to talk a little bit. I was listening to a series on the internet from my mentor, Dr. Miles Monroe, and he was talking about the creation story. And as he was speaking, some thoughts came to my mind, and Spirit came and dropped something on me, and that's what I want to share with you right now. And the question that Spirit gave me or asked me was, why was Abel's sacrifice accepted and Cain's sacrifice rejected? I think this is vitally important, and this is something. And listen, I am not a religious guy. I've gotten out of that for long ago, but this is important to not for religious or religiosity. It's important for the way that we live our lives as individuals. Religion is something that ties us up and binds us up. Spirituality frees us and gives us the ability to move here and there. So, I want to talk about this whole idea of why Abel's sacrifice was accepted and Cain's was rejected. Now, when we look at these two individuals, these two brothers, they were brothers, right? They were brothers. And it says here that Cain was the oldest, right? And Cain was a tiller of the ground. In other words, he was a farmer. He was a farmer. And with that farming comes a mentality, a way of thinking of seeding, planning, and the process of and the intellect that it goes into farming. And so he had a certain way of thinking. Okay. Now his younger brother, Abel, was a keeper of the sheep. In other words, he was a shepherd, unlike his brother. Two different occupations. And one of the things I want to share with you is this. Purpose, two aspects that are important that relative to purpose here. One, we're going to talk about in a second, is an individual's name. Okay? Two is the occupation that they choose. Your purpose and the occupation that's right for you. See, a lot of us are choosing occupations that are really not purpose connected. So occupations can be connected with purpose, but doesn't have to be. But so occupation is one. The second area that I want you to keep and make mention of, and I want you to be mindful of, is your name. Now here, the word Abel is important because the word Abel is the word breath. It means breath. Now, why is that important? Because in breath there's life, and in life there's connectedness. And that connectedness goes to not only the Creator, but to all things, because the Creator is the creator of everything. That's why it is the Creator. Because in that the Creator is the creator of all things, if you have connectedness with the Creator, you have connectedness with all things. Thus, you have access to to all things. That's important to understand and remember. Connectedness gives us access. Abel had access, had connectedness and access because of his mindset, his mentality as a shepherd. A shepherd is connected to the flock, connected to everything around, connected to the ground, connected to where the sheep feed, connected to where the sheep water, and so, or drink water. So the shepherd understood the connectedness of all things. Oh, that's good. Now, the word Cain means possession. Unlike Abel, Cain possessed. He possessed because of his mindset. The work of his hands was his possession. What he did and what he manufactured and what he produced, failing to realize that all he did was he was a part of the connectedness that he was unable to see, because his mentality was that he was a possessor. Now, why is that important? Because many of us today have that same mentality, that we own something, that we possess something. We own and possess nothing. And when you think you own or you think you possess, you forfeit access. You cannot have access when you think you own. Whereas Abel has granted us access through his mentality of connectedness. Cain's mentality of ownership leads to disconnectedness and no access. That's important. That's important to know today. If you want connectedness, if you want access, first thing is purpose. Purpose is the most important thing. I've been saying it for over a decade. Purpose is the most important thing. Purpose is found in your name. Purpose is found in where in your occupation that's connected with who you are. It can be. Now let me go a little further. I want to go a little further in this because there's some more here. When we look at Cain and Abel, when they were in the field, and it says that Cain rose up against his brother and he slew him. He murdered his brother. He murdered his brother. Why did he rise up and murder his brother? The same way that we do now. We want to exercise ownership. See, Cain wanted, still in that mentality of ownership, he wanted what Abel possessed, or had access to, or was able to do. See, jealousy is very, very dangerous. People are walking in areas where they have no business, doing things they have no access to. That's dangerous. It leads to shipwreck. It leads to frustration. It leads to addiction. It leads to mismanagement. It leads to dysfunctional leadership. It leads to the things everything that would destroy us because we want to own. So Cain rose up and murdered his brother. And in Genesis 4:9, the Creator came to Cain and said, "Where's Abel, your brother?" And Cain said, "I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?" He asked a question. But first of all, we got to understand the Creator already knew what happened. But what the Creator is trying to get Cain to see is the importance of connectedness. He should know that I know, because I'm connected. I'm the Creator and connected to all things. And then he goes on to say, "Cain, your brother's blood is crying from the ground." Why? Because he's connected. even in death, he's connected. His life, his blood is there's breath in his blood, and his blood is connected to even in the ground with everything and speaks. The Creator was still trying to get Cain to see the importance of connectedness and how connectedness grants access, even to Abel, who was no longer alive, but his blood gave him access. That's powerful. And so what people want to talk about the blood of Jesus, it's not the blood. It's what's in the blood. It's life that gives access, connectedness and access that grants us the ability to fulfill purpose. Oh, that's good. You've never heard this before. But listen. So here the Creator is speaking to Cain and asking and trying to get him to see the principle of connectedness, the principle of life, the principle of access. But Cain, being Cain, still wanting to own and possess, drove himself out, departed, left, still maintaining the access, the idea of ownership. And we still have that mentality today. There's still people among us that think they own things. You own nothing. Do you hear me? You own nothing. And as long as you think you own it, you will not have access. And the very thing you think you own, you will lose. But if you see connectedness, if you see that we are connected to the Creator, and through the Creator, we're connected to each other and everything, we have access to all things. I'm going to close with this one thing because I'm running out of time. In Genesis 4:25, it says that Adam knew his wife again, and she bare him a son and called his name Seth. For God, she said, has appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. Now, here's what's important about this verse. Eve had another son, and the son that she had was its son Seth. And the word Seth means compensation. That's important. Why? Because anything you lose, anything you lost can be compensated. Anything you lost can be regained if we would just believe it. If we would just hold on and understand that compensation, it means setting instead of something else that was lost. And in most cases, that is something greater, of greater stature and a greater amount, an increase, expansion, extension. It's important to understand that Seth was compensation. It means that your loss you can be compensated for anything that you've lost. But you have to stay connected. You have to stay connected. Seth stayed connected. Eve stayed connected. Right? And because of that, they had access. Well, this is Dr. G. Alfred Palmer. Again, I want to share with you the importance of the upcoming series and the book that is going to be accompanying it, called The Secrets of the Garden of Eden. You don't want to miss it. It will be something that will revolutionize your thinking, and it will change the way that you look at the biblical narrative. You'll never see it again. You'll be changed forever. Well, this is Dr. G. Alfred Palmer, and I just want to say thank you for allowing me to access your time for this amount of time. You could have been doing something else. But I want to say this to you in closing. You are who you are because of your purpose, and purpose is the most important thing. Peace.